Hi, my name is Luis Rosado, and I was born with albinism. I was born in 1989 to two parents with no traits of albinism. Fortunately, I was born with albinism. A lot of people see it as a disability, but personally, I don't. There are other persons on this earth like myself who have albinism, but albinism does not always cause a disability. Persons like myself with albinism have visual impairment due to the lack of pigment in our skin and behind our retina, which lets in too much light. It's like wearing sunglasses in the summer and helping yourself see better by blocking out some of the light. We don't have that ability, which causes our eyes all year round to catch too much light and reduce our visual spectrum. Throughout my life, and mostly childhood, I've been considered a liability, which is a complete lie, due to the simple fact that I became successful single handedly thanks to my overwhelming try to succeed and prove others wrong, where I was told that I can't do specific things due to my lack of vision, but I took those things and turned them around to turn them into a positive. Throughout my youth, I had to overcome several challenges. The main challenge was when I turned 16 and visited the eye doctor. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I asked her, "Doc, will I ever be able to drive?" She said, "Unfortunately, with your vision, you are considered legally blind in the state of Massachusetts, and as long as you are a resident of Massachusetts and the laws do not change, you will not be able to drive yourself around." The limitations or restrictions upon my transportation, although, did not stop me from growing to be the successful entrepreneur who I am now and the successful businessman who I will be in the future. Overcoming my fears of public speaking, I have learned to become a great entrepreneur and helping others to know that you're not alone. There's always someone there to help as long as you look for the help. He who does not look will not find. With great thanks to my grandmother, Alida Santos, when I turned 18, I was able to obtain my first apartment, well, studio. A small one bedroom, single bathroom, tiny kitchen, but a small foundation led to a large foundation where now at the age of 27 I own my own home, several businesses, and I'm pursuing a master's in international business administration and political science. Throughout my teen years, I looked for several jobs so I can become more independent. But unfortunately, every time I filled out an application and went in for an interview, I felt that I was looked down upon as a liability, which I mentioned earlier is a complete lie. When I turned 18 years old, I started my own business in electronics retail and IT services to prove to others that just because you can't find a job doesn't mean you can't develop your own income. A couple years later, I'll turn 22 years old. I had the financial backing and knowledge and support to purchase my first home. One of my favorite things to do in life is travel. I have been on about 7 cruises and no less than 30 vacations in the last 10 years. Yes, 30 vacations. They weren't 30 weeks of vacationing, but I was able to leave my hometown and go and visit a new place for at least a weekend, a week, sometimes 2 weeks, and not have to worry about income, responsibilities, or anybody telling me what I can and can't do, where I can and can't go, or even how I can and can't arrive at my locations. Being independent is one of the most best feelings in the world. Get up in the morning, decide your destination, and find your own way to get there with little to no help from others. I'm not saying you have to walk around and not speak to anybody, because personally, when I walk around, I speak to everybody. Good day. How are you doing? How is your day? Learning to speak to others will open up a vast world of opportunities and possibilities that can take you in any direction you wish to travel. When I travel in the airport or when I travel through a train station, I ask various questions like, can you help me go to the next stop? Can you help me read a sign? Even if I can read the sign, I practice speaking to others just to relieve the stress that I have built up throughout the day or anxiety that I might have for what there is to come. Fear is the only thing to fear, because at the end of the day, there is nothing there to fear but fear itself. When I was 18 years old, sitting alone in my studio, I asked myself a very important question. Who am I? Seriously, who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? How did I get here? Just by asking those simple questions that most people won't even think about or are afraid to think about, help me unlock a lot of unique abilities that the average person does not have. Public speaking, the lack of fear and emotional attraction to materialistic items, and the ability to just take every day as it comes, but do not take it for granted. For each day is not granted nor promised, but as long as you take each day and use it properly, then at the end of the day, you can at least say, at least I tried. When I learned about segregation, segregation means to separate subjects by subject so that they're easier to control, maintain, or factor into specific groups. When I learned that I personally can be segregated because I choose not to be, it made me a stronger person. I don't belong to a specific race, ethnicity, religious group or background, or government, creed, color. I am a man. I am that I am. A man, just like every other man and woman on this earth. Equal, but with a bad mindset that most people have. Unequal due to the ignorances that are widely exchanged upon us. When we are told that we are products of our environment, that couldn't be any farther from the truth. For my environment wasn't always the best environment, and I turned out to be a lot greater than 90% of my environment. And I'm not just saying that out of spite, I'm saying that out of fact. For a majority of my friends that I went to school with are either still living at home with their parents with minimum or low paying jobs or even no jobs, with several kids or no kids, and nothing much to show for. I'm sure there are other people that I grew up with who have more than I do, but a majority have less than I do, and it has nothing to do with where you grew up, how you grew up, or even when you grew up. It has to do with taking responsibility for your own actions. By taking responsibility for my own actions, I can forgive and forget the actions of others, put them aside, and grow from the knowledge that I developed and the mistakes that others have taken on. I learned to not create the same mistake. We are living on a hamster wheel. And as long as you stay on that hamster wheel and work, just like everybody else, you will maintain staying on that hamster wheel and keep working like everybody else until you take responsibility for yourself and say, enough is enough. I want to go my own way. I've been here and I haven't been moving. I've been trying to get from point A to point B, but point B is not getting any closer. Why? Because a hamster wheel, you work, but your position does not move. Once you gain the knowledge that getting off the hamster wheel, or as they call it now, the rat wheel or the rat race, you're able to go in your own direction and get from point A to point B, from point B to point C, and by the time you get to point D, that poor hamster wheel is long gone, along with all the hamsters and rats per se that are still stuck on the same wheel. Throughout my youth, I was shunned by teachers, fellow students, even through my teen years and some college years. People tell me that I can't achieve specific things because either they believe that I can't achieve them or they tried and failed on their own. That's when I ask, well, why do you feel that way? What did you do to come up with that conclusion? And then I ask myself, from what I was told, what can I change so that my conclusion comes out differently? So that I can actually make a change besides becoming another statistic. You know, statistics come in very handy because they are able to show success, failures, and other factors that we look to calculate and record. But a lot of people fail to see that they just become another statistic when they just follow along with what the next person said and did, instead of taking the time upon themselves and changing the minute things in life. By changing something small, you can change something large. Take a snowball, for example. You have a small snowball in your hand. Cause and effect. You cause the snowball to roll down a hill, and it slightly gets larger and larger. By the time it gets to a resting point at the bottom of the hill, it will be larger than it was when it was in your hand. And how is that? Well, first of all, you had to decide to create the snowball. If you don't decide to create the snowball can never develop to something bigger than itself. I didn't sit there and pack the snowball on its way down the hill. Thanks to gravity and other unseen forces, the snowball was able to grow and pack itself to become larger than its original size. Now, take that in a life perspective. Nobody held my hand and said, well, if this doesn't work out, try this other idea. Or if that idea doesn't work out, go and speak to this person. 99% of the time, I had to sit down for hours alone and wonder to myself, well, if this person can't help me, then who could? If this problem keeps arising, how can I find another way around the problem so I don't keep running into the same brick wall? I used to run track and country because I couldn't play other sports. And by running track and cross country, I was able to train my body to obtain pain for long periods of time. Running for 2 or 3 miles without a break can be exhausting for some. But once you train your body to relax at a steady pace, you can run forever and not think twice about it because you're in such a relaxed trance that everything else around you just disappears. Very much like the reality we all share. As long as you are working to better yourself, and pursue greater dreams than just yourself, then everything else around you will fall into place. I am in the process of writing several books. 4 right now, actually. And those 4 books are going to go into great detail of how I learned about my past, present, future, how to control different aspects of life that by the average person are uncontrollable, how to respect certain laws because ignorance to the law does not protect you from it, and that is equally said for several realms of the same reality we all share, or should I say same realities we all share. While some of us just live a simple single-minded lifestyle, others can live a more enhanced lifestyle that they can jump in and out of multiple realities by not even moving a muscle. Some people say, well, that person is bipolar or tripolar, which is not true unless you mean it in a type of way that they're able to live comfortably and happily in multiple realms of life and be able to distinguish and appreciate every single aspect of our shared realities while helping others awaken to themselves. Yes, awaken to themselves. Think about your life as a dream. You live a dream, you create your dream. Some people destroy their dreams out of fear. Well, the first thing to overcome is fear. Like I said earlier, for fear is the only thing to fear. For there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And once you comprehend that simple concept, your life is endless. It is like the universe, a large expanse where you can travel in any direction without restriction. Just because somebody says you cannot do something doesn't always mean you can't do it. Maybe you have to respect a certain law, or maybe you have to respect a specific person. But when it comes down to the end of it, you are a living, breathing human who can ultimately make decisions for yourself. And as long as you make the right decision based off of other people taking the wrong decision, you learning that someone else's mistake is your key to the future. There are several doors and opportunities behind them doors that you can unlock. The main purpose of me creating this video today is to bring awareness to persons with albinism, to raise the morale of other persons like myself around the world and let them know you are not alone. You are like I, a living, breathing human. You can make your own choices. You can travel to your own destinations. Having restrictions is having fear, and having fear will keep you stranded. I learned that whenever someone tells you no, it's only no temporarily until you find a reason to turn that no into a yes. And as long as the yes is beneficial for yourself and others, why not take it into your own hands and see what you can make out of it? I'm not perfect, but also I try not to be imperfect. I try to help others to the best of my ability, even if others do not do the same. I try to guide others in the right direction, even if they will not travel in the direction that I show them. I even try to enhance the lives of others, even if I know that the knowledge that I share with them will go in one ear and out the other. For all we have is time, and time is of the essence. I do not tend to waste my time, but at the same time, I cherish it. I cherish every moment, for we travel 1 second forward for every second that passes. And as we move forward in time, we create our history as we speak. At the end of this video, you're going to notice that I create the video, and over time throughout the video I became more comfortable in speaking into this camera of which you are watching me at this moment. But I learned to keep a calm, subtle composure, so not to have anxiety, so not to have fear, so not to have problems with speaking to others who are not even in the room. But when I do speak in public, I carry those same traits as if I'm alone, speaking into a camera with nobody around. On June 13th is International Albinism Awareness Day. That means that all around the globe, persons with albinism are going to try to bring awareness to their communities, wherever you may live, in North America, South America, the Middle East, China, Europe, Russia, or even Africa or Australia. No matter where you live on Earth, we are all still human, speaking multiple languages. But when you grasp what we are doing, we are all doing the same. Language, for example, is a strong barrier. But when you comprehend sound, you can comprehend language. For all we are doing is creating sound. And our brains are converting that sound into meaning. So whether you're speaking English or you're speaking Chinese, the sounds come out, the brain translates and you comprehend or understand what the sounds mean. So, in turn, the next time you learn a new language, take it as you're just learning a new set of sounds that you're going to ultimately be able to communicate with others. Life is a unstoppable lesson. Yes, an unstoppable lesson. For every day you are awakened, every day you should teach yourself something new. For a day without a lesson is a day lost in time. For a day lost in time is a day never gained in return. Don't waste your time. Just listen to the world around you. Comprehend and learn to appreciate the subtle things in life. Learn to say, I love you, and mean it. Yes, it's very simple. When you tell somebody that you love them, you are sharing emotion. Emotion is a very, very strong but very misunderstood law in our reality. A lot of people get confused with the emotion called love. They mistake it with lust. Lust is an emotion of want and not always need. You can say, I love my new car, but honestly, do you love your new car? Because when you love something, if it does not love you back, then that means that you lust that thing. You can't love a miscellaneous object, for that miscellaneous object does not have emotion to show you love in return. But when you show love to another person, then that love turns into more than just love. It can turn into romance or a friendship or anything that you turn it into. You can even think that you love somebody and that person can learn to hate you in return because you're confused with love and lust. Now, some people say, well, what is lust exactly? Lust is when you want something or someone really bad, but you really don't want it. You want something similar to it. You can lust your boyfriend or your girlfriend because they remind you of someone you used to know, or because they smell or act or wear some specific things. At the end of the day, it's not going to make you happy. Lust will never make you happy. In life, you have to become happy to be healthy, because he who is unhealthy will be unhappy, and he who is unhappy will always be unhealthy. I have spoken to several other persons with albinism throughout my life, and they all share a similar trait. They try to hide who they are to fit in more comfortably. Unlike myself, I love being albino. I'm different. People stare, people take pictures. I've even had people get out of their cars and pray to me because they believe certain things that are not always meant to be true. It's amusing sometimes, but ultimately it's sad to watch a race of people decay in front of you because they live a life of confusion. They live a life that they believe what they're told because they know no better to research and gain their own comprehension. Yes, they understand life as a minute factor, but they will never comprehend it as a whole. Prior to recording this video, my plans were to travel to Ghana, speak in front of other persons like myself who have albinism, and help them build a morale, as I am doing now. I then wanted to travel to the Congo to albinism summit so I can meet with other persons who are like-minded and figure out new ways to change the reality that we all share. Lastly, I wanted to travel to Tanzania, and that's where I caught a lot of heat and I caught a lot of backfire from people who told me, please, we will not help you if you travel to that place. I have no fear, for I want to go home to where my bloodline originated and learn of how the people like myself are treated, or should I say mistreated. We don't have any magical powers. We don't have anything that anybody else doesn't have. Yes, we may look different. Yes, we may act different. But we are ultimately all the same. The misconception that a person with albinism who is killed and their limbs are taken and their blood is collected is disheartening. It breaks my heart thinking that families are ripped apart, bodies are torn apart, and humans are left to suffer on behalf of a few greedy, ignorant people who have a very, very sick mindset. Very sick. Chopping up children for money. The last time I checked, you cannot eat money. You cannot eat cotton and have a nutritional diet. You can use the money to buy things that you may need, but ultimately money is just a tool. Try eating a hammer and see how many of your teeth fall out. It's a tool. We are trading things of value for things of no value. For all we have is time, and time is traded for currency. Value traded for no value. You can easily work for somebody and get paid with nutritional food, and no currency was involved. Why? Why must we live in a life of slavery, in an economic slavery, to live a life of comfort? It is unnecessary, and it bothers me daily that so many people are comfortable living in such a poor lifestyle. Money does not make you rich. Knowledge makes you wise. Money does not enhance your life. It doesn't bring happiness. It does not bring health. Because, as people may know, you can cut yourself on accident and your body will heal itself, with or without medication. I can wake up happy every morning and not even have $1 in my pocket because I know that I'm alive. Once we find ourselves in awakening from the nightmare that we have been placed upon, the trance, the illusions the matrix that is falling apart around us, we will have a larger appreciation for one another. We will love one and another. The life will be more comfortable if each person in this world were to fully comprehend themselves and take responsibility for themselves and love one another regardless of their color of their skin, regardless of where they were born, regardless of what political or economic background they share, we can thrive as one human race. There will be no more rat race. There will be prosperity. There will be health, love, and honor. We don't need to go to war to prove that your country is stronger than the other. We don't need to spill innocent blood because of a disagreement. I don't understand why a very few would rather keep the masses as slaves instead of teaching them how to become more efficient, more economically smart, more environmentally friendly, and life will be better off for every one of us. The earth has 8 billion souls walking upon it. Souls inside human vessels which travel from point A to point B when possible. But like I said earlier, 90% of those vessels never reach point B because they're so afraid to leave point A. Stop living in fear, for fear will keep you locked in your cage when the cage is wide open for you to run free. Live free like myself. Travel the world, for the world is your backyard. And if you're afraid to walk out your back door, then your home will forever be your jail cell. Speak to others, ask their opinions, but don't take them to heart, because a heart can only be healed from internally, not externally. A heart can only grow when it's exercised, and when it's not exercised, it will diminish to the point that we have arrived at today, where one soul takes the life of another without remorse, where one soul is sold to another without regret. If I can bring change to this world, I will do anything I possibly can to do so. But alone, we can never achieve what we need as we could if we all come together. White, black, red, or yellow. It does not matter the color of your skin. It does not matter your political background. It does not matter what country you are in. If we were to take a true picture from space, there are no borders. For borders keep us segregated, but they're invisible. For borders keep us from crossing into another person's yard when God Himself, our Father, no matter what religion you choose, gave us the Garden of Eden to prosper from. and it is impossible to prosper when you cannot travel freely. It is impossible to prosper when you cannot communicate with your brother or sister from across the globe. We are all brothers and sisters, for we share one Father and one Mother Earth.
New at 11, the Latino Chamber of Commerce is doing its part to reduce unemployment by helping members of the community start their own business. Several of tomorrow's business leaders tonight completed a course in how to start and manage your own business. They met twice per week over the last 3 weeks, learning about creating a business plan, marketing, and hearing from mentors who've already succeeded.
It brings a lot of knowledge from people that already have that experience, and instead of doing something wrong multiple times, you're able to learn what somebody did right one time and just keep continuing to refine the process.
Rosado encourages other people to participate in these seminars, which are free if you join the Latino Chamber of Commerce.
37% is a high unemployment figure for individuals who are blind, but it's typical across the nation, and which is one of the reasons why we decided to host a job fair hiring event in Massachusetts, so that we could impact that unemployment rate and give individuals who are blind an opportunity to learn about what types of employment is available here in the Commonwealth and to match their skill sets to those types of needs that employers in Massachusetts have.
And another way that the Mass Commission is working to meet these needs is the internship program that you launched. And it's now 7 years, and Louis and Joseph were both members of that internship program. So let me start with you, Louis. How did you get connected with the internship program?
I tried to start to go to college. I went to ACI. The commission helped me pay for my tuition because it was really high. I would never be able to afford it if it wasn't for the commission. And through my last year of college, they told me that there was an internship program that I can do and help get on my feet. So when I start my own business, I don't have to have someone, constantly tell me what to do.
So do you feel like the skills that you learned through the internship program kind of helped you connect the pieces so that you could start that business?
Yeah, it helped me a lot. In ACI, I did the whole testing center. I ran all the wire, did all the computers, set up the server for, the firewall and everything. And now I can go and do that at my own school and my own job. I also set up things for like the last Latino Chamber of Commerce. I did all the wiring and networking for their building as well, using what I learned at the internship during the internship. So.
Great. And now, Joseph, you worked with the Springfield City Council, right?
Yes.
So what was that process like for you?
Well, that was this past summer, and that was great. I got to work on a bunch of issues. I worked on the biomass plant that they were going to put here in Springfield, and some of the cyber cafes. It was good to. I'm getting my master's of public administration, so it was good to see how government works kind of on a local level.
And Ron, you are new to this position with the Mass Commission for the Blind. You're here directing the Springfield region. What's this involvement in the program been like for you so far?
I would say in a word, inspirational, really. My first introduction to working with the Mass Commission consumers was at the internship award ceremony in Boston, where I saw 68 college students from across the Commonwealth be acknowledged for successfully completing a summer internship in a wide variety of fields. And I was just so inspired by that I transitioned from working as a college career development administrator to trying to provide some of the same services to folks who really could benefit from some of the areas I've worked in over the years. So it's really been remarkable. I love every minute of it.
So now, Janet, with this internship program, how is it helping to bridge the gap? Because I was doing my research for this, about some of the challenges that blind people face in becoming employed, some of the obstacles they need to overcome. How are you helping to sort of bridge that gap and help people to overcome those obstacles?
Well, one of the ways that we really feel is imperative for our consumers to have an early work experience. So having an internship opportunity is unique to the blind community in itself. When the rest of the community, typically individuals who are young, have an opportunity to acquire job skills by participating in internships, whether they're working as a newspaper delivery person or working as a babysitter,
Right,
or working
kind of standard fare for all those folks, right?
Absolutely, and that's not typical experiences for individuals who are blind. So creating this internship experience for our consumers really does give them that opportunity to have an early work experience. But what also is unique about it is that we don't actually select the internship experience for our consumers. They tell us, and they identify their career paths, and they tell us what kind of career experience they're interested in. And so some of them may be college students, some of them may have had previous work histories. What's important to us is that we match their skills and abilities to their area of interest and their future career goals. And so we identify employers who need a match also.
And so the program has been going on for about 7 years now, right?
It's actually 8 years. Yeah, we just actually concluded our 8th year of our internship program.
Have you been able to track any of the folks who are involved in the program to find out if, in fact, it helped them land jobs in the careers they were interested in?
We have, and we're in the process, since we just concluded our 8th closing ceremony of our consumers, of collecting that data. But we, as of 2010, had an 80% success rate in terms of making sure that individuals who were in our internship program are on track for employment or have actually received employment. And so we're very proud of that fact. And actually, in addition to that, it's been so successful that 8 states to date have replicated our program.
I was just about to ask that because it's really innovative for Massachusetts to have this program. So there are, in fact, other states picking up the great idea and running with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Locally here in New England, we just worked with the state of Maine, who is in the process now of developing their own internship program, which is modeled after our internship program, but it will be customized and individualized to the types of industries and employers that are available in the state of Maine.
That's great. So, Ron, when you're working with businesses or potential people who are going to work with your consumers, are there challenges that you need to help them to overcome? Because I was reading about some employers have this misconception that they're going to have to put in new technology, they won't be able to afford it.
Right. There are challenges, but we are, much like your logo, which I love, Connecting Point, with the bullet moving back and forth from right to left. We're constantly moving to meet the needs of the employers. In every case, the worker is supported with assistive technology to adapt the job to meet their needs, so they'll be just as successful as a typical employee. So we're able to go into the workplace, assess the needs, and address those needs by supplying again, the tools that are necessary to be mutually successful, both the employee and the employer.
And so, Joseph, when you worked with the Springfield City Council, did you find that that worked out well for you in terms of the commission coming in and looking at your workspace?
It was kind of a non-typical internship because I worked with Councilor Tim Allen, and he doesn't really have like an office.
Right.
So I would have my own laptop and my own equipment that I could bring with me and work with him in different areas. I would have, I had it already.
So how did it work for you? Did you need to have a workspace assessed?
I worked a lot of freehand. Originally, I got a laptop from the Commission on Blind before I started school, so that also helped a lot. I didn't have to go out and spend money that I didn't have to buy a laptop. And doing that, I could take notes and take everything with me on the go in the laptop. I won't have to go call somebody or ask somebody for help. I could just look it up on my own.
So again, that independence.
Yeah.
And that's something that the commission works overall to address, right, Janet?
Absolutely. And, you know, times have changed. Technology has become an incredible equalizer for many of our consumers. And so you're hearing from Louis, who's wiring and doing all kinds of electronic and has started his own business as a result of his previous internship experiences. So technology has really been able to leverage the ability of our consumers not only to be independent, but to be productive citizens in the Commonwealth. So that is absolutely our goal. But we also recognize that our employers are our dual customer. And so we see the need for our agency to partner with employers so that we can also assist them with helping to integrate individuals into their companies. And we know that our consumers can be qualified candidates who can make a difference in their workplace as well.
And at the front end of these internships, we are able to offer financial support to provide stipends to the interns. So there's no financial outlay at the beginning for employers. And if it works and the intern does a great job, we're hoping that the employer then take them as a new hire.
Excellent. Great. Well, I appreciate the four of you coming in today. And Janet, remind me of your dog's name again.
Osborne.
He has been perfectly well behaved.
Thank you very much. He's
My
a good
thanks.
boy.
He is. My thanks to all of you.